Bloomberg terminals are basically like a specific computer machine that people in the finance industry will use, and I only had a wee bit of experience of through Queens, through the Bloomberg room they had in Queens, and these computers are basically a one-stop shop for everything that you need in terms of information when it comes to trading the financial markets and being in the industry. And these Bloomberg computers, there's even sections on them where they had like an eBay, was like sort of like an eBay section of it, and there was boys selling yachts, boys selling portfolios of properties, boys selling portfolios of cars, and so it's just it's a different world. It's great. I swear to God, we looked at this. They actually showed us this whenever we were at Queens, and some of the stuff is insane. It's just like, I'm selling this 60-foot yacht for £1 million, and there's people out there that will never see that amount of money in their whole life. But the computers themselves, anyway, they're like a desktop computer. They have keyboards and you can use them somewhat like a normal computer, but they have access to all this information, like incredible information. And as I was telling you before, the speed that you get that information at is just second to none compared to if you're sitting on the HP at the house with a laptop or whatever. Even if you do have the best connection, even if you're paying for our subscription services for places that give you this information, the speed at which it comes out of a Bloomberg machine is incredible. Because I don't know what they're hooked up to. They must be hooked up to some sort of international server where the information gets registered very quickly. But as I had explained, a really easy example would be something like one of the most popular things people will use when they're trading is called NFP, non-farm payrolls. That basically is a measure of the job market, job losses and stuff like that in America, and that has a massive effect on the price of currencies, because at the end of the day, if the UK or if the US economy is struggling because of the non-farm payrolls, then the markets move massively, like very quickly too. And in some cases you would have found that this stuff is crazy, but say something can move by a pip, which is basically a really small increment of one in the trading markets and the financial markets. That could move by 100 pips and within 10 seconds, 20 seconds. And so these Bloomberg machines were presenting that information bang on when the information was released, so that these people in the industry were able to hit the button and make the trades and capture money. Whereas if you were sitting in the house on the Dell or the HP, it would be 15 seconds past by the time the number registers on your screen. Everybody else already made their money.
So it's pulling this information from somewhere. It's not it's not predicting it. It's real time information.
Yeah. So whenever you have there's expected information, there's the historical information, and then there's the actual. So say the GDP in the UK shrank by 3%. That was the last measure. Then the expected might be, it's only going to shrink by 1% this quarter, but then it only ends up shrinking by 0.5%. Then that causes a big stir in the markets because it's better than they expected. And so if you have that information quicker, you can make money quicker and better and faster and with less risk. That's the important thing.
People might be listening and thinking, like 15 seconds, but like in terms of like actual money, like what sort of difference can that make, that information?
Well, as I explained these before, if you're putting on big leverage trades, right, and this information comes out at 1 o'clock, by the time that 15 seconds have passed, this makes the biggest difference between whether you could win or lose, because the bulk of the move and the markets may have already happened, and albeit you're making the right decision by buying or selling, you may be too late. And in terms of money, the money side of it's not relevant. It's the activity that you're doing, because there's some boys out there that might be putting a trade on where they make 10 grand in one go, boys making £1 million in one go. I don't know. But the time difference can be the difference between you winning or losing in terms of it costing you money. So the faster you have the information, the better decisions you make, and you can capture some sort of it and win, or have a profitable trade. Whereas somebody who is 15 seconds late, they might make the right decision, they buy because the market's going that way, but they might be already too late, and then people are selling against them and then they lose. It's crazy. It's amazing stuff. It really is amazing. When it comes to you being at home, it's like David versus Goliath. It's very difficult, and it's like anything else. If you have the right tools, you can play the game better. And unless you're in that position where you have all the right tools, and the tools can be the difference between a good job and a bad job. It's like a joiner doesn't come to your house to nail a nail into your wall with a loaf of bread. So that's exactly it. But it's crazy what these things can do. There's so much vast information on there, and it's historical information. So you could have 50 years of information on everything. Like there's indexes for the price of a loaf of bread, or there's indexes for the price of something really silly, and how that's changed over time. And somehow people use that to make informed decisions in the market.